Hi there, and welcome back to episode 5 of Level with Me with Matt Wagner, Max Sommerfeld, and today's special guest, Brandon Blau. Introduce yourself, Brandon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon. I'm a freshman at USC, and like Matt and Max, I'm very big into sports, and I'm excited to join the podcast for today.
We're really happy to have him.
Yeah, so glad to have him.
We are so glad. One of the big reasons we want to bring Brandon on today is because Selection Sunday is less than 48 hours away, and March Madness will be starting up next Thursday, which I'm super excited for. One of my favorite times of the year, and obviously not having it last year just makes it so much more special. Brandon, tell them a little about your connection to college basketball and what this means.
I mean, for me, so last 18 years, I've grown up a diehard UCLA fan. Unfortunately, a lot of heartbreaks growing up, and now I actually go to USC, fight on, baby. So now I'm a big USC guy. I mean, we're looking pretty promising. We have the Mobley brothers, Evans, a potential top 5 pick. So like, I don't know. I'm actually very excited for March this year because I actually have high hopes to go to the Sweet 16, Elite 8. Maybe make a run to the Final Four. And I've always loved college basketball. Like Matt has said, last year it got taken away from us. So, I mean, definitely more excited this year, doing a lot more research, I think. Hoping to make the perfect bracket.
You know, if Brandon's excited about a team that can't even crack its own conference, most likely, I'm pretty hyped about Ohio State. And I think you guys know that. We're making a run.
I mean, after last night's showing, I'd be a little bit concerned. Minnesota, an unranked team, 14 wins, 15 losses, almost took you guys out. So,
yeah, we'll see about that. Look, one of the
almost
things
doesn't count.
Exactly. Only in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yes.
One of the things I find interesting about March Madness, which I know I've highlighted before in the podcast in one way or another, is that to win, you must win 6 straight games, or maybe it's 7, I believe. No, it's 6, against the greatest teams in the sport. So that's 6 consecutive victories over teams that are looking for the same thing. And there's so much tension. There's so much to win, so much to lose. And a lot of guys, part of what makes it so great is that they're college players. They're not professionals. So no one's really prepared for this.
Like you said, I mean, a big thing of winning the tournament, as you can see, the last tournament champions, Virginia, Villanova, these are experienced teams. Like, yeah, freshmen will get you to the tournament, but about winning the tournament comes down to having these experienced players, these seniors and juniors who've been there before. Totally. And with not having March Madness last year, it's been very interesting seeing all these guys who are playing in their first tournaments ever. And a lot of new number 1 and 2 seeds like Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma State. These are teams that have never been in this position before, and they're rising to the top of brackets.
But here's another thing you have to understand too is, and what makes this year different is that for just as many freshmen as you have coming in as you do every year, everyone last year was granted an extra year of eligibility. So you have a lot of guys coming back who are like 5th-year seniors. You have a lot of guys who have been here before and are hungry after what happened last year. And, you know, in the pandemic, it's affected all of us one way or another. And I believe to come out the other side and be in this position, it puts people in a spot where they can have that confidence, because what more do you have to lose? I've been here, I've done this, and this is it. You might as well just go out there and throw it all on the court. You mentioned Virginia. They had lost to a 16 seed just the year before. Comes down to what kind of team are you? The kind of team that's going to shut our way, or the kind of team that's going to make great comebacks in the Elite 8 and championship to knock off Purdue and Texas Tech and route to their national championship, which was legendary. It was awesome. So, you know, just like any year, it'll be extremely interesting. And I'm just so excited. There's nothing more I can say about how thrilled I am to have this back, to have the aspect knowing that there might be fans in attendance, just that life's getting back to normal. And as a year ago, this was one of the first things taken away from us. As things are starting to get back to what they should be, it's one of the things we're getting to have. It's another reminder of how far we're coming as a nation and as friends even. So it's awesome. I'm really excited.
Having fans back is definitely going to make a difference in all sports. You know, Texas, the stadium said that they're going to have full capacity, right?
Yeah, I'm going.
Sure. Like, I mean,
it's going to be so exciting.
My family's really making a trip down to Indianapolis and going to see a March Madness game if they're UCLA fans. If UCLA makes it, so I don't expect them to make it very far.
Will you be part of that trip, Brandon?
I have no idea. It depends. SC makes it pretty far. I think we should focus a little bit more on March Madness because there are a lot of teams people aren't talking about, and untraditional teams. I mean, Oklahoma State, that's a team that's ever really been there before.
But they're getting talked about now. They have.
But listen. The interesting thing about Oklahoma State is that they have a potential March Madness ban. They were not supposed to be there because, according to the NCAA, they were paying Cade Cunningham, the number 1 recruit, potential number 1 pick, to be there. So they don't even know if they're going to be there. But I mean, if that's a team that makes it, they've never been there. That's a potential team that makes a run. Arkansas, a team that is really, really deep, great on offense. I mean, they have a lot of SEC wins. They're up at the top.
They're very fast moving.
For me, it comes down to the number one team we've all been talking about is Gonzaga. I mean, look, they're undefeated. Jalen Suggs, great point guard, potential top 5 pick. But the question is, they haven't really played anybody. And the one team they played that was semi-good, BYU, they're beating them at halftime. And they had to come back late and win this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how far Gonzaga makes it. I think Baylor's very, very deep. Illinois, I think, is the best team in the Big Ten with Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi. I mean, that's those.
I don't know about that one.
I honestly think this tournament, even without minimal fans, I think it's one of the most exciting tournaments in years. When you have so many good teams,
110%. And to strengthen your point there, just about Cade Cunningham. He is the number 1 pick in the draft next year, no question.
Oh, 100%.
The guy is the type of guy that can take a team that far. In college basketball and any basketball, but especially college basketball, you have guys who can change a team.
Oh, for sure. I mean, remember
12 guys on a roster, but one
Morant.
great player can change everything. And that's why, I look at a team like Michigan, dude, and I look at like Hunter Dickinson, I look at Livers, and I look at freaking Wagner's younger brother, Franz. I look at all these guys and they're deep. They're full of dudes who could win it on their own with a great coach too. And as much as I hate to say it, I think they're looking like the team that I think is going to run away with it this year. Wouldn't be my first choice, but
interesting pick. I mean, a team no one's really talking about, which is kind of a sleeper pick for me,
Baylor?
is Winthrop. I mean, not to win the championship, if you're talking about Cinderellas here, I mean, they're projected as a 13 seed according to Jerry Palm. I mean, this team is 26-1. They have 1 loss. And this team can make a deep run. I mean, they're projected to play Virginia. I think Virginia, they're depleted right now with COVID. They've been losing a lot of games. I mean, look for them to make a deep run. I mean, Max goes to UCSB. I think they can make a run 1 or 2 games. I mean, Villanova, top 5 seed. I mean, they're limping into the tournament.
I don't think there's a reason to even talk about these teams because upsets are so spontaneous. That's the crazy thing about making brackets. I end up losing to the 6-year-old girl who's never dribbled a basketball in her life in bracket challenges because that's how unpredictable it is. So it's hard to say a team like that could go or would go anywhere. Their matchup's going to be their matchup. And if you want to talk about a team with a strong record, who hasn't played anyone, we talked about Gonzaga. It's the same worry every year. It's the same concern every year for them. It's, wow, these guys are great. They have a great coach. They always have a great guard. They always have someone. And you're like, these guys are stacked. They're talented.
And they're always one step away. They almost won it with North Carolina. They became so close and they're never very sad. That made me very sad. For me, I'm staying away from Gonzaga in my brackets personally. I think they're a great team. They can go far, but I think once they face a real team in the 2nd, 3rd round, I think that's where they're going to fall. I think they're going to fall earlier than people expect.
Even a team like San Diego State, who knows?
Oh, 100%.
They're dirty. They are.
But I mean, so Selection Sunday is definitely something I'm looking forward to. I mean, you guys obviously talk more about that when the brackets come out. It's hard to project teams, but I mean, there's some interesting stories in college basketball now outside March Madness. I mean, Creighton's coach, the whole controversy there with him saying some racial comments and now coming back to the team. I mean, they're projected as a top 5 seed, so that's really interesting. Kansas, a top 3-4 seed. They have some COVID issues. Virginia, COVID issues.
Let's highlight that. Let's highlight the fact that my heart sank into my freaking feet this morning so deep when I saw that Virginia, Kansas, and Duke all now have had COVID problems and can't play in their conference titles.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge worry.
It's extremely scary, and it's hard to isolate these guys because you have a bunch of different conferences, and it's schools. They're athletes. They're not being paid under contract. They're not employees. You can't totally tell them what to do legally. So you can't make a bubble. You can't isolate these guys to where this might not be a problem. I mean, dude, if the Final Four rolls around and Jalen Suggs gets COVID, Gonzaga's out, what do? You don't just give a team a free ride to the championship and you don't.
I mean, the thing is, I think it honestly falls upon the coach to make sure their players are following the COVID protocols, especially for these players. I mean, you've come so far the entire year, why blow it now? I think with Duke and Kansas and Virginia having these scares, it's time to really kick it into high gear. You've made it this far in the season. It's time to really get your shit together. But
at the same time, which we all know, no matter what protocols you're following, you never know when or where you're going to come in contact with any type of COVID, and it's extremely easy to contract. So it's hard to say that's on the coaches. It's hard to say that's on the players. It's hard to say that's on anyone. This is a world pandemic we're living in, and no matter what you're doing or how you're living your life and going about your daily life, it's going to get you one way or another. what do we want to talk about? I think if you guys want to stick to March Madness, we can. If not, we can highlight Cam Newton's $14 million contract with.
I'd actually love to talk about that. I mean, Max, I know you're a big football guy, so if you want to start out, Max, I know March Madness is not your expertise.
I mean, Cam Newton, like, it's average. I wouldn't say he's worth $14 million. Maybe, I think probably 25 quarterbacks better than him in the NFL. And like, they said that they gave him $14 million and they're still looking for other quarterback options. So what's the point?
It just doesn't make sense to me, especially for a program. Sorry, program. I'm stuck on college. For an organization that is so prideful of being cautious and being smart. And
I mean, yeah, 100%.
They signed this guy last year. They signed this guy to the veterans minimum, and he did not prove himself in any way that he should earn 28 times that amount.
Yeah.
Why are you?
My thing with it is that like. This guy, yeah, he's still a good quarterback, but he can't throw. Like, especially in the Patriots offense where they're going from Tom Brady, a guy's a gunslinger. I mean, you know who Tom Brady is. I don't need to tell you how great Tom Brady is. But for Cam Newton, like, this guy, he has a rubber arm. He can't really throw. And to spend $14 million on him, also in a stacked QB class, I mean, there's guys that are going to be available. Mac Jones, that's a great quarterback. You can get later on.
I think he's great in the Patriot system. I'm sorry, did you just refer to Cam Newton and to say he had a rubber arm?
Yes, the guy cannot throw.
That's his awesome. Balls literally.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
The angle goes down when he throws the ball.
It's not pretty, you guys. And the problem too is, you know, it's the same concern you have with any quarterback who comes out of college the way he did. And he's a runner. He's taken enough hits in his career. His legs are not the same legs he had 5 years ago when he was MVP.
Yeah, but you still see how many rushing.
What are you going to do without legs or arms as a quarterback? Sit there looking like a potato.
Be a chicken nugget.
Hand it up to the running back.
Exactly.
Well, also, I mean, speaking of NFL free agency, man, a ton of major things have been happening. The Lions and the Packers are both letting go of Kenny Galladay and Aaron Jones, respectively, is what it seems like. Those are two big losses.
Chiefs cut two
for the Packers. They're really putting a lot of faith in Quadzilla, AJ Dillon. I mean, I think he'll be a great running back. But I mean, Aaron Jones, the
Percy just got signed for $4.5 million to the Texans today.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny Galladay really seems like the Lions are trying to build around Jared Goff, but I don't understand why they get rid of their top target. I mean, that guy's great.
Nothing. They're not. Let me tell you something right now. They're not trying to build around Jared Goff. They just he was part of the let me get rid of Matt Stafford and try to get something for him. Jared Goff is not the future in Detroit. They know how far out their future is. So Jared Goff fills a good spot right now of someone that has experience, someone they can trust to most likely stay healthy enough to take the field and not, have them at least, Jared Goff can probably avoid an 0-16 season.
At the same time. 100%.
So, Jared Goff is poised. He fits that role perfectly in Detroit because he's
just my issue with that trade is, I really think like the Rams take up a lot for Matthew Stafford, but if the Lions are trying to rebuild, why go Jared Goff? Because honestly, if I'm a Lions fan, I want to go 0-16 versus going 5-11 or something.
But listen, I'll tell you why. Because I don't think anyone else was willing to offer so much to them otherwise. And it makes it so that they don't have to, quarterback's such an important position. It's still, no matter how bad you are, you don't want to end up like what the Cleveland Browns are doing, rotating guys every week. That's very stressful. That is extremely stressful. And if you spend your time trying to go 0-16, it's depressing no matter any way you put it. You might as well give it some effort, and you might as well have a very vanilla guy like Jared Goff in there. It saves you the stress of having to worry about that spot for the next 3 years. Next 3 years that don't matter to them. Also, I don't think anyone else was willing to give the Lions as much as the Rams gave them otherwise for Jared Goff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, back to big free agency signing.
That's where the trade comes into play.
Yeah.
We're getting what you want, and you're getting what you want, but we want a little bit more. And we want to get rid of a little bit more. It worked perfectly to the point where both teams are happy. And I don't think either team is kicking the dirt right now. I think the Rams, as a Rams fan,
I think the Rams are so much better off. I mean, Stafford's a gunslinger. I mean, he's perfect for this offense.
Oh, he's great. And you got to say too, that having guys like Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald who come around once in 12 generations or never, you can't waste another year of these guys' primes.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Andrew Whitworth is still playing and the guy's still a baller. You can't waste this guy's last year or two of his career. You need to give everyone who's working their asses off and giving it their all and doing what they can to put a winning team in the field a great quarterback. Because even guys like
listen. Speaking of great quarterbacks, from the Rams. I mean, Tom Brady has signed a contract extension. This guy's going to play till he's 50. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. He's going to win like 2 more Super Bowls. It's pretty miraculous what we're seeing. We'll never see anything like this again in our life.
I just started WandaVision. I think he might be Vision. I think he might be Vision.
I mean, also speaking of like big time playmakers of free agency, I mean, you've got to feel bad for Allen Robinson. That guy just keeps getting passed around to horrible quarterbacks. I mean, he was in the Jaguar system, and the Bears just hold him hostage. Like, he does not want to be there. I don't know if you saw his Twitter account, but he's liking tweets that are anti-Bears. I mean, that guy does not want to be there. Their situation's all messed up. I mean,
Allen Robinson,
Trubisky, Foles, neither of those guys. And the answer is like, what are they going to do to answer that hole in the draft? I mean, hopefully they draft a quarterback, but their pick isn't too high.
Yeah, it doesn't. You can't. There's not. Look, let me tell you something about drafting a quarterback. Okay. I don't think it's ever smart to draft a quarterback and play him his rookie year. I don't think that's how it should ever be. I don't care who it is, where they come from.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence this year. I mean,
I don't care.
Look at the Packers and Jordan Love.
You could have said the same thing about Joe Burrow, but the problem is if you have the number 1 pick, you're throwing those guys into a terrible system. You don't want to risk having it so that, look what happened with Joe Burrow this year. Would you say that was smart? Absolutely not. The guy took so many.
I mean, yes and no. Yes,
and you don't know if he's going to be able to come back after that and have the confidence he had coming off a year where he threw 55 touchdowns in 14 games and won a national championship. It's
also college. It's such different than NFL. I mean, what are they supposed to do? Bench their number 1
That's
pick?
what I'm saying, though. Your minnow's coming into a pool of sharks. You can't throw him into that pool and just say, all right, here you go. Well, you have to have a transitional system.
I don't know. You put him in there, you know that you got the stud. Like Joe Burrow was amazing when he played.
But dude, you also see guys like Aaron Rodgers who are still balling at 36 years old. He's an MVP.
Yeah, but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I know, but a lot of these guys
compare Joe Burrow to a Hall of Fame quarterback.
But I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would be the same if he didn't sit under Brett Favre for 2 years. That's all I'm saying. If Peyton Manning,
also, Matt, it's a little bit different. It's not like Aaron Rodgers was the first pick. He was the 32nd pick in the draft. I mean, you have to play Joe Burrow. He's the reason you drafted. He's your franchise superstar.
It did nothing for them. It did nothing for them. It did nothing.
It showed them that what they got, that Joe Burrow is not the problem. And that
the guy's a stud.
Quarterback in the next 5 years.
But what if they had gotten their hands on a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick and said, we want you to mentor him for a year? It's like redshirting a freshman.
Fitzpatrick's so overrated. The guy's
if a guy's Gatorade Player of the Year in high school doesn't mean like a Tate Martell. Okay, just an example of
a very high recruit. About the Dolphins then?
I don't care. What I'm saying is you don't start a freshman quarterback in college from high school because, you need them to transition. You have the red shirt option. The transition from high school to college is not nearly the same as it is from college to the NFL. It's not.
But they're not. They're also getting paid millions of dollars.
I don't do it, but at the same time, what do you want out of them long term? If you have the first pick, you're not winning the World Series. You're not winning the Super Bowl the next year.
But let's say you're the Jaguars. You're saying you're drafting Trevor Lawrence and not playing him this year? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's exactly
First off, Matt, it also is in the whole other aspect. Like, I understand you want them to adjust, but you need to sell tickets. If you're a small market like Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is the biggest attraction you'll ever have. I mean, it's a whole front office thing. I mean, this guy will change your team instantly.
You also need to see him improve.
I understand that I'm
playing against crappy practice players.
I'm not looking at it from a business perspective. I'm looking at it from the perspective of someone who wants the most out of a player. I guess when it comes to business, there's a different story there. And obviously, if you're the GM of the Jaguars and you don't do that, your ass is probably going to get fired.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, now to transition, NFL offseason is obviously going on. The draft is coming up. But how about basketball? I mean, the All-Star break just happened. And to be honest, I was thoroughly disappointed with the dunk contest and the All-Star festivities. I don't even think there should have been an All-Star game. Like, these players deserve a break. Their families are dealing with COVID and everything. And I just thought there was no reason to have an All-Star game this year. It's clear no one really wanted to be there.
No.
It just felt like a lackluster event, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful. I don't understand that. I think you come back to business, still generates revenue, but at the same time, the dunk contest sucks. I've seen those same dunks 1,000 times. The 3-point contest is the same every year, and there's no.
What you mean? They just shoot 3-pointers?
I don't know. I was so disappointed by that as well. I usually do enjoy the All-Star game. I didn't think it was something necessary, and I didn't think it was something that anyone wanted. But I don't even feel the need to talk about that because I just think that goes beyond sports. It's just bad management.
Yeah. I mean, the NBA, the second half of the season is really, really interesting now with the Nets getting Blake Griffin. I mean, that makes them the number one contender in my opinion. I know you guys are both big Laker fans, but I mean, Their team is star-studded,
Laker
but a
fan?
big deal is now LaMarcus Aldridge is on the market. It looks like the Lakers are interested in him. That guy's a former All-Star.
So is Marcus Gasol, and look how that's working out.
Yeah, but
So is DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, but these guys are not past their prime.
That
Yeah,
was Blake Griffin.
Look, you want to talk about
Blake Griffin hasn't dunked a basketball in 2 years. What
This
more do I
guy's
have
still
to
putting
say?
up 15, 16 points a game. Are you kidding me? He's better than what everyone else has. I mean, come on.
I think the Lakers need PJ Tucker. Him and
The
Rockets
6'5"
play
center.
well.
Look,
I
the
just
corner
think
three
that's the guy we could
specialist.
use.
Most corner threes in the NBA last year.
Corner three.
Look, I get it. You guys are biased. I understand Laker fans, but come on. You're telling me you're not afraid of the Nets? I mean, they're playing cohesive basketball.
I mean, am I afraid of the Nets? Yes. Did the Lakers win the championship last year? Yes.
And is Anthony Davis very banged up? Yes.
Will he be when the playoffs come? No. Look at that.
You don't know that, though, as a fact. I mean, look,
You don't know
I'm
that-
as big
I
as
mean,
What's
what
gonna
do we know
stop
about?
KD?
Hold on. If you want to talk health, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving all in the same court. I'm telling you right now, by April, it's going to be the Houston Rockets all over again when it's just James Harden.
It's a fair point. I mean, also,
Load
one team,
management.
That is a fair point.
one team everyone's sleeping on is the Utah Jazz. I mean, they're absolutely on fire right now.
No one
mean-
sleeps on a team that isn't supposed to be slept on. How many times has a slept on team emerged from the dust when you have guys like LeBron James right, 400 miles west of them and come out and beat them? Never. So I don't think they're worth talking about.
So personally, you think it's down to two teams in the NBA? I think it's Lakers or Nets take it all. You don't see any other contenders.
The Clippers always, because you never
They'll never
know.
get it done. I mean, they're the Clippers.
They are the Clippers. They've never made the Western Conference Finals. I'm telling you, they're cursed. But
You can say the same thing about Milwaukee. Giannis disappears in playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't expect much from him, to be honest with you.
No, I
He
don't
doesn't have
expect
enough
anything
help around
from
him to have that
And
performance.
to be real with you, I think a big team that we're talking about is the 76ers. I mean, Simmons and Embiid both have COVID right now, but to talk about them in general is like, I don't think them two are going to work. I mean, they've had so much time to get it working. It just hasn't worked. They have all the talent there. I think they need to choose Simmons or Embiid. And if I'm them, I'm choosing Embiid.
I mean, I was at Max's apartment last weekend and got a noise complaint because of my passion towards a Sixers fan who thought they were going to win the championship, trying to explain that I've seen the same thing 1,000 times with that team.
Yeah.
Why is this year going to be any different? Why this year would Joel Embiid not get rattled in the playoffs? Why this year would Ben Simmons actually make a difference on the court? Overrated since the minute he stepped in the league.
I mean, the guy's great. He just needs to develop a jump shot, but he can't do it. He
So
physically
what?
can't do
How
it.
long have we been saying that? 3-4 years?
Exactly.
I could develop a jump shot in 3 years. Test me.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all I'm saying. Well, I think we should start wrapping it up.
Thanks for
What
coming
else?
on, Brandon. It was so nice to have you.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome having you.
Of course, guys, anytime. Happy to be here.
Maybe you can hop off and let Max and I wrap this up then.
All right, for sure, boys.
Take it easy. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's great.
That was our first guest. I hope you guys enjoyed. Something I know Max and I wanted to talk about too is Karis LeVert coming back. Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we're throwing in some stuff in the segments just to appreciate things beyond sports. And this guy, trade may have saved his life to the Pacers, and now he's going to get to wear those amazing blue and yellow jerseys and take the court and enjoy himself and be healthy and be a baller, because we all know he is one. So that's awesome. Anything else you wanted to say? Anything you saw this week?
The MLB rules in AA.
Yeah, they're
going
MLB
to try them there until if they like it, then maybe they'll consider putting in a MLB. But
There were a few of them. Was there one that stood out to you?
okay, the bigger bases, I understand, avoiding
Sure.
collisions. I
They
saw,
want to enlarge the size of the bases to try and avoid collisions from players. So yeah,
yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna look what else there was. The shift. I support the defensive shifts.
I don't.
I think these guys are being paid millions of dollars and they can only hit the ball one way. Learn to hit the other way. It's baseball.
Oh yes. No. I support. Sorry. I support the defensive shifts the way they are now.
Yeah.
The rule is, and the ancient rule in baseball doesn't change that much. It is, and I'm not an old school guy. I'm not a static thinker. I'm flexible, but I'm also here to say that the rules, you got to put 9 guys in the field. That's it. If you want to stack them all up around second base and have 9 rovers, you can have 9 rovers. But pitcher, catcher, everything else is your decision and your choice. I don't think it should be limited. I don't think anyone should have to, it's baseball. It's new age baseball. Spread the freaking field. They tell you that at my, when I was playing at 10 years old. Spread the field.
Right.
The end. Otherwise, I don't know. I enjoyed this. Our views are totally declining, though. I wish more people came on and watched.
Yeah. Well, we gotta
Promote.
spice it up a bit, having Brandon on. USC audience.
It's a lot of fun. Yes, sir. Get all those,
Yeah.
most of them come from money. So
if you made it this
get
far,
rich
thanks
people
for
for
watching.
shows.
Hope you liked it.
Yeah. Take it easy. We'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Bar.